everybody. Welcome to the Cellar Nightly. This is the best Cellar Nightly that ever happened. I am Mark Cohen. I'm here with me, Jackson, John Joseph, and Rich Vos. What a great crew. How you guys doing?
I'm here.
We're existing.
Did I have too much fake energy going?
No, you look so much different. You cut your hair or something, or
Yeah, I guess I cut my hair and growing. I try not to grow a beard, but I hate shaving.
you're starting to look like an out-of-work rabbi.
What makes you think I'm out of work?
Well, if you are, if you're not, God bless you, because I think everybody else is.
I'm doing brisses on the side.
Hey, listen, if it pays money, do the gig.
I'm working for tips. Hello.
Hey, I'm here all week.
God.
Come on, I haven't worked in a long time. 20 years.
How is like life in Vegas? I heard like Vegas, because I mean Vegas is derelict to begin with. Yeah, we all know. But I heard there's such good deals on hotels and flights that is bringing in the derelicts.
Oh, that is possible. I heard that. I haven't gone, but I heard it's busy, that the casinos are busy.
It's busy.
You know, that people are gambling anyway.
Yeah, but how busy is going to be? People gambling with masks.
It's
Now, is it mandatory to wear a mask in a casino, or that people could still run around like without a mask?
I think you're supposed to wear them. I don't
I mean,
know.
I know the employees are supposed to wear them, but I saw a whole video with people running around no masks.
I think everybody's supposed to wear them.
Yeah, they're probably not going to though.
None of you guys would fly, right? Nobody's going to fly anywhere, right?
I'm not right
My
now.
daughter just flew last week to Charlotte.
How was it?
She says it wasn't bad. Everybody had a mask. Everybody here. I mean, I think she had her own row because there's not that many people flying. And, out of New York, she was careful. But, we're less than 1% New York. If the rest of the country could do that, we'd have no problem with anything.
How can New
Charlotte
York
is horrible. North Carolina is not good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, now she has to quarantine for 14 days. But, she fills out a form in Charlotte. When you get to New York, you have to quarantine. A contact tracer will call you. And needless to say, she's been
Nobody's.
14 days. Nobody calls.
Wait,
Yeah.
who flew to Charlotte? A comic or your wife? I didn't hear.
My daughter.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I heard that on one plane, like 14 people caught it. And then that's what, yeah. And my wife told me that last night. But then you hear other stories. Yeah, I flew,
How do they pinpoint that they got it from the plane, though? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, if all of a sudden 14 that were on
Oh,
the
that's
plane,
true, I guess. Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Also, how can New York only be 1% when it was so high and it's so condensed? I don't understand how New York could. I mean, I could see Florida, Arizona, where they're out, but how can New York only be at 1%? It makes no sense.
Are you going to the city, Rich?
Once in a blue moon, we'll go in. We went and taped a special last night.
Really?
Yeah.
You and Bonnie, it's your special?
No, for HBO Max. It was a bunch of comics.
Good for you, man. And there was there was an audience?
It was in their cars at a drive-in.
I see.
It was set up so cool, but
Nice.
and
Now you're great at crowd work. Do you have to change your act? I mean, it's
I hosted it, but I didn't do any crowd work. I did some, I just got them going. I did material. It was a lot of fun because I was with a lot of friends that you haven't seen in a while.
yeah, I'm sure.
Seems
It also
fun.
depends on the airline,
What's that?
It also
Mhm.
depends on the airline. Some airlines just want bodies. They say, wear a mask. If you take it off on the plane, I don't think they care. But
Well,
don't-
yeah, you see people wearing it below their.
A bunch of people are doing that. Yeah.
I saw what's his name today, that Devin Nunes on a plane.
I'm so fucking pissed off at United. Before all this, when this happened, I canceled $2,500 worth of flights, and they won't return my money. They just put it in vouchers.
yeah.
For how is there a time limit on the voucher?
2 years, but still,
I
you know
know.
what? One, they're making money off of my money because that money
Yeah.
goes into their bank and they could invest or do whatever. But I'm a million-mile flyer. I'm a premier flyer. Give me my fucking money back.
Really.
Yeah, that doesn't sound legal, especially, you know.
Yeah, that seems
No,
unfair.
it sounds like an agent.
Yeah, because they are making,
You know, they don't give you, they hold on to your money for 2 weeks. They have a 50 acts. They make the money from 50 acts in a week. That means they just paid 3 acts and whatever, you know, everybody holds money. The only people not holding money are comedians.
and Mia, you're in New York?
No, I haven't gone back yet. I've
You're
been
in-
gone since the beginning of March. Yeah,
Where are you?
I'm in Maryland right now.
Oh, you're in Maryland.
Yeah, I'm still in Maryland. Yeah,
You
so I
did the
just
show
been
before. You
here.
think I would remember. I've
Yeah, yeah.
What part of Maryland?
I'm in Fort Washington, so I'm probably about 10, 15 minutes from the National Harbor and about 25-ish from DC proper. So
Oh, okay, so you're
yeah,
in between.
yeah. So I'm out in the burbs, but yeah.
Man, can I tell you a sad story?
Of course,
Yes.
that's what this is for.
Yes.
All 3 guys on this Zoom that are with you, 3 years ago, we all did TV shows, maybe it was 4 years ago, and not one of us was wearing glasses.
Look, and I was going to say earlier, like all of us are wearing glasses. Look at
Now
this.
look at us. It's the Mr. Magoo Zoom.
I've never seen Richard glasses, I don't think, but
Well, these are reading glasses. I mean, I can't read with or without them, but
wait a minute.
How'd
so
the special go?
it was just so much fun. It just,
Oh,
you know,
That-
I mean, the fun is, you know, when you're hanging out with Bobby and Keith and Marina and
Oh, that's
Cohen,
great.
Oh, so and that's who it was. How many comedians were there?
There was, I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was just like 2 or 3 of you.
There was like 8 of us, whatever.
nice.
Nice.
Colin directed it. It was great. Anything Colin is involved in is just fucking good. He's just so likable and brilliant. And I love doing anything with Colin. I
All
really
right,
do.
listen, my wife and daughter are yelling at me. Is my shirt straight?
Yeah.
Do I look okay? Is it? I know it's bent
Yeah.
there for my glasses.
It's your neck. You look like that commercial with
Is
the
my
guy
neck
at the-
broken?
no, the
No,
guy
it's
with
a
the.
good setup.
No, you look fine.
You got the
Right.
bookcase in the back.
If my daughter
Fancy.
wasn't in Astoria, she would be behind me holding my shirt down.
This is. I don't know if I'm aging myself, but Mia, this is what I thought your hair was when
Oh,
it's
wrong
not
daughter. I got
Grace
confused with my
Grace Slick.
daughter. How many
She
daughters do you have, Rich?
I know who Grace Slick
Well, I
is.
don't know. You're a young kid, but you remember she had her
No.
hair. She had hair like that.
Now
I
I
have,
gotta.
No, you're not thinking of Grace Slick.
What do you think of Grace Jones?
Grace Slick.
He's thinking of Grace Jones.
I know who both of them are. Oh, you thought I had a fade? Like no. This is just
That's
I did
definitely
not want
Grace
to.
Jones.
No, I
Grace
didn't want
Jones.
to. No, I didn't want to wear my Zoom wig, which is over here to the left. So my Zoom
I
wig
need-
is just out of sight, and then I have
I need a
another one.
Zoom wig.
No, let me tell you, it's been the best thing that I could have ever done. I'm like, why would I even do my hair at this point when I can just I wear a wig with a hat? Yeah, I'm with it. Get you a Zoom wig.
I have 3 daughters, John. Why do you ask?
Because I have 2, and I remember talking to you at the Cellar one night about your daughters, and we were going through kind of the same thing, I guess, the daughters go through growing up and stuff. I wasn't sure if you had 2 or 3.
Well, my older ones now are 30 and going to be 20. Oh, one's going to be 29 tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
Danielle's in her third. Both my daughters are in their 30s. When they
Wow.
started coming to the Cellar, they were 8 years old and
Oh.
13.
Well, you were probably their age when I met you, Rich.
I was.
Well, my 12-year-old comes, but my 12-year-old's vicious because she grew up with me and Bonnie. Last night, comics are going, I'm scared to be near her. And she, the problem is
What?
she is vicious, but she grew up in clubs since she was a baby, and it's all she's seen. It's like putting a kid in the prison yard throughout life. And you put a kid through, with a bunch of comics throughout their life, they just, I mean, she's a smart kid. She's straight A student, but she's an ass.
How did the girls grow up with their dad as a comic?
A dad and mom.
Yeah.
My first wife wasn't a comic. My two older daughters grew up stable because they saw both their parents do our divorce. Me
Right.
and my ex-wife stayed friends. I lived in the same town as her. She would have the kids at night and I would have them in the day,
Right.
raising them because I work nights and so, and when we got divorced, my ex-wife, we didn't have anything, money or anything.
Right.
So we did our own contract. You know, we didn't go to lawyers. There was nothing. There was just, you have them on Christmas, I'll have them Thanksgiving.
That was cool.
We'll split daycare, we'll split everything. And you know, it's
Right.
once money's involved and ego and lawyers make money by making you fight. So
Right.
we got along great.
That's great.
Your kids were young though, right? Your girls were young?
4 and 2.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That young.
Yeah, they were young. And you know, but look, my ex-wife and I, when Bonnie and I had Raina, my ex-wife, we lived in the same town. My ex-wife used to babysit my daughter, you know, with Raina and stuff.
That's
You got to do that, you know. You're related. You got to take care of the kids, you know.
Well, she lives in North Carolina now. She moved down there with her husband, but you know, listen, it's easier in life to get along than fight. And comics, we're vicious. We have, you know, that's our defense system is words, and we say things,
right,
and then you regret it the next fucking day. You go, did I say that? You know what I mean?
But the hardest thing in the world, I think, is for a girl, not your wife, because she does what you do, but I mean, for, I don't know what you would call civilian, to live with a comic, is really takes on a life of its own. They can either do it or they can't do it, which is why so many of our friends are, you know, divorced. They don't understand. They can't do it. We're on the road all the time, blah, blah, blah.
It's hard either way.
My wife is
hard anyway.
with 13 people because she's been living with me forever. So she's doing something right.
But it's hard also for a comic to live with a non-comic. I mean, how much do you really care about what happens in the fucking office at Apple or whatever? You know, so you gotta, it is. I mean,
it's hard no matter what, and it's hard.
No, it's very true. Yeah.
That's why my wife never worked, because I was on the road forever, and I wanted to be able to take her with me on the road and to make sure the kids didn't come home with nobody in the house. I didn't want a nanny. I didn't want anybody to watch the kids. The kids.
Wait, so she went with you? With the kids too?
When the kids got older, even when the kids were younger, we would take like that gig in the Bahamas. You've done that gig in the Bahamas, haven't you? Joker's Wild or whatever.
I did it once. Yeah, I took my daughters. I did.
Yeah, I took my kids, my wife. We used to go there. It was great. It was like a little vacation. You make no money, but it's a good vacation.
It was $45 a kid. I made my kids hand food under the table to each other.
Right, it was expensive.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that one.
A mortgage application.
Yeah.
They flew back with food.
But it was a great place. Like Ray has that place in Aruba, you know.
Yeah.
He's never hired me. Well, hold on. Aruba, my ex-wife and I went there on vacation for a week. And the day we got back, she goes, I want a divorce. I go, you couldn't have told me that a week fucking earlier. And
kidding.
The day we got back, Tony Camacho's wife passed away.
Oh, were you there when Lynette?
Yeah. I went to the whatever it was.
Was that?
And my wife goes, I want a divorce. I go, you couldn't have told me that? You know how many people I could have brought to Aruba?
I used to be there every year with my wife. Before we had kids, we were there every year.
Wait, that Bahamas gig, you're talking about 20 years ago, right?
Well, the Bahamas gig, it wasn't that. I think we stopped going. How long ago, Danielle?
It was how old am I? Like
I'm talking to my daughter at the same time.
The ventriloquist.
Yeah. Hi, Danielle. Yeah, I can't do Zoom without her. Really, I'm basically a mentally challenged person. When was the last time we were in the Bahamas?
It was probably 15 years.
15 years ago?
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I did do that gig. 20 years.
I've heard about
one of your lifelines. You only have 2 more lifelines after this.
Yeah. I phoned the friend. I got nothing left.
Maya, how long have you been doing comedy, Maya?
No, it's Mia. It's fine. It's fine. It's let me see. probably since about 2004. Like I didn't go full time until 6 years ago. I was still like working the whole time. So
I retired
Yeah.
in 2004.
Are you serious? From what?
No,
he
he
never
not.
started.
No,
retires every
stop it,
show.
Mark. No,
Mia,
but I've been around.
so you're from Baltimore area.
No, I'm from Georgia.
Oh, so you're not friends with Monique. Monique is from that area, Baltimore area.
Yeah. I started in Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Years
I
ago.
thought you started in Baltimore or Baltimore.
No, I grew up in Georgia. I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. It's a military town, Fort Benning. So that's where I grew up. And then I started pretty much in Atlanta is where I was until a few years ago.
Marshall, doing Marshall's gigs or doing the Uptown?
Both of well, no, I was Funny Farm Marshall is where it was when I first started doing clubs, and then Punchline, and I went to Uptown a couple of times, but Uptown it is tough. It is very, very tough.
Nothing like the Peppermint Lounge, believe me.
Oh.
Nothing like the Peppermint.
Oh yeah, I've heard about Peppermint Lounge. I've heard.
Yeah, you're too young to ever have heard of Betty's Fireside.
Oh, that's the one I was trying to think of.
What
Betty's
is
Fire.
That
I
was
need
the
to hear.
Thunderdome. 3 comics go in, none come out.
And stay in.
Right.
Where
Wasn't
was
there-
it?
Wasn't there something hanging in front of the stage so they couldn't throw bottles at you?
Oh,
Yeah,
but
the old comic.
I remember Bob Woods jumped over the bar at somebody. I mean, Bob was a big dude. I'm working
He was
with
a big guy.
He fucking flew over the bar, and it just all it broke out. Fucking Woods. I wouldn't. Some guy in the audience threatened me, and I stood behind the bar the whole night until the place cleared out.
At Betty's Fireside?
Yes.
Yeah, I once worked with Steve White. You remember Steve White? Do you guys know
Yeah.
Steve White?
I'll take
We were
off
in
on the walls.
Connecticut, in New Haven, a Jewish guy and a black guy, and it turned out the bar was like a Klan bar, and they started giving me
Ooh.
shit. I was going first, and I just was like, okay. And then he got up and he started giving them shit back, and we had to literally run to the car and drive out of there.
At a clam bar?
How does that even happen?
I mean, it wasn't a
New
clam
Haven?
bar; it was a bar, but the clientele happened to be, racist.
Oh, I thought
You know.
you said clam bar.
Oh no, that would have been still bad, but
The fucking
Oh.
lobsters were just out of control.
I got
Horrible.
crabs.
There was a place in Connecticut. I know you played there because I saw your name. I mean, this is 100 years ago. Billy Jacks. You remember Billy
Oh
Jacks?
God, the
Fucking
owner
yeah.
would fucking go up and host, and he was, oh,
He was a pain in the ass. I came off stage once. He goes, "You owe me a minute."
Yeah,
Oh.
he was just a prick of misery. But we played there at the 1986 Mets game when the Mets were playing in the World Series against Boston Red Sox. And it was that game that the ball went under Buckner's legs. And it was me, Colin Quinn, and Kenny Ober. And Kenny Ober was on stage, and me and Colin were watching the TV, and the ball went under Buckner's. Meanwhile, the chefs, everybody was popping champagne. They were ready to cheer for the Red Sox. The ball went under Buckner's legs, and people were screaming, "Get out of this place, you New York pricks!" We're running to my car, driving down, laughing our asses off. That was the only time I ever played Billy Jacks.
That's crazy. We did Billy
Mets won the
Jacks.
World Series.
I did a club. I forget. I remember T.J. Wells booked it. It was a shitty one-nighter, and the owner would host it. From the back room, he would announce, and the host was Dennis Ross, and from the off mic, the owner goes, "Our host for the evening has done clubs and colleges, big fucking deal." Dennis.
Wow.
What was that? Remember Colin? We were talking about Colin got in a fight with who was the host of the A-List? Do you remember that TV show?
That girl.
Sandra Bernhard.
Sandra Bernhard.
Right.
Her introduction to me, I did that. Her introduction was, she goes, "Here's a guy, I never heard of him. I don't know if he's funny. You decide." That was my TV intro. At the same time.
No.
What did she say to Colin? I heard Colin. It was
You know, it wasn't what she said, I don't think. It's just she didn't care. She didn't care about the acts, you know, she didn't have any heart, no heart into it. And I think it offended him. But I think he was going to literally, I wasn't there that night, but from what I heard, he was like chasing her around.
Yeah, there was some serious fucking a club outside of Philly, Mitchell's Comedy Club.
I remember that.
Remember that? There was so many of these places.
Tons of them.
The worst are when the owners emceed.
That was always a mistake. It never worked out right. Or when one of the radio DJs threw out T-shirts and tried to host.
Terrible.
That was a waste of time.
Or they'd special guest in the middle, like for 10 minutes.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. I haven't worked for this guy Scarpati in years, but then he had a gig by my house. So, and it's just, it's kind of beneath me, but it was close and it was a door deal. And I did it twice and made decent money to drive 40 minutes, 45.
Nice.
And so I emailed him and he wrote back, I'm not going to bring you back. Cause he, you know, he's paying everybody else $100 to head, you know,
Right.
And he goes, I can't bring you back, whatever. And I wrote back to him, I go, thank you. That's the best thing you could do for me.
I worked with him 100 years ago.
Why didn't he bring you back?
He didn't want to, I was doing a door deal and I would take over half the money and
so he would lose. I see.
Yeah, but he was making all the liquor.
Because he's an idiot. Obviously.
I don't think at that Doylestown room.
Oh,
whatever. It doesn't matter. He can get $100 act or pay me what I'm getting. He's going to take the $100 act. He doesn't give a shit. But I thanked him for not rebooking me.
The first place I ever did stand-up was Baltimore, in Maryland, rather. Not Baltimore. It was Annapolis.
Oh,
what was the name of the place?
I don't know.
I remember that. It's where what's his name? Slater punched in the face in Annapolis. It was like a theater club there in Annapolis.
Oh yeah. Why did he get punched in the face? I love these stories.
All right, I want to.
He called a girl. He called a girl the C word.
Oh,
California.
Okay.
And then he got off stage, and in the lobby, the boyfriend goes, why you call her? You know, he goes, because she's a cunt. That was Sandy DePerna booked that room. Annapolis, Maryland.
I like Sandy. Sandy was a nice chick. Still is. She's still around.
I see her on Facebook. Sandy and April. You remember Sandy and April?
Yeah, April Prassarella.
Yeah, she was a scary one, April, but Sandy was not.
Yeah, April scared me, but Sandy, I got along great from Charlie Goodnights.
Yeah.
You know?
Me, all three of us were around during the boom, I guess.
Listen, I am enjoying this. I'm like, I want to hear more.
Mia,
this is great.
There were so many things popping up.
I used to set my alarm. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I have nothing to say.
Oh, I used to set my alarm at 2 a.m. to go do my set at the Improv. You have to wake up on a Saturday night and there'd still be a line out the door.
What? Oh my God.
I remember popping from club to club to club. Do you remember? I remember sharing Ray Romano's Volkswagen so we didn't have to pay for parking. And we would do our sets back to back. And we go from stand-up New York and drive to the West Side, then drive through the park and do Catch, do Dangerfields, back to the Cellar. Boston.
How many spots? How many spots were you doing in the night?
7 sets a night.
I did like 8 or 9 one night, and then I think Attell crushed that one.
Right.
I think I told this story last week on this. I was doing a road gig in Pennsylvania, and it was me. Adam Sandler was opening. I was closing. So after the show, the owner takes us in the back room. I think he was getting like $60. I was getting $100 or whatever. Or something. He goes, "Would you rather have money or Coke?" And I go, "I'll have Coke. Give me the Coke." And I got way more than $100 worth of Coke. Adam took the money. Look where Adam is, and look
what happened to him. I worked at Adam in some Italian restaurant in New Haven. He was middling, and I was closing at the time.
With his guitar, right?
No, this is the story. He goes on before me. I didn't know him at the time, and he goes, "Hey, can I borrow your guitar?" And I was like, "I don't shit, of course." He does his set, and he gets my guitar, and he closes with the cunt song. He just sang cunt 50 times, and I had to go up afterwards. in an Italian restaurant.
Wow.
Can we say that on this? Can we say that?
Right. I know. What can we
Yes,
do?
you can say restaurant.
But then Billy Joel wrote a song about it.
Billy Joel?
No, when you said in an Italian restaurant, I go, then Billy
Oh.
Joel goes.
I thought you said Billy J.
Then we do.
Whatever happened to Billy J?
I think after the movie Billy Bathgate, where he thought he was going to become a star,
Right.
he fizzled out because he was such an asshole.
He was telling us all the stories about sitting on a milk stool next to Bruce Willis. And
One
Bruce
of
Willis
the
looked at
worst.
Billy and said, "Isn't this the greatest gig ever?" And Billy goes, "Yeah, yeah." And he goes, "I wasn't talking to you."
But then,
The worst thing I ever saw was at Catch. Manfrotati was on stage, and Billy J came in, and they said, "Billy, who'd you guys just say? Bruce Willis is in the audience." And Billy J's out and like, "Oh my God, he's gonna fucking love me. I haven't seen him since Billy Bathgate. It's gonna be fun." He comes out, he just runs to Manfrotati. "You were great." He didn't know who he was.
Oh,
I don't remember Bruce Willis. I thought it was Dustin Hoffman in Billy Bathgate. Was it Dustin Hoffman, right?
It might.
It was Bruce Willis.
Was
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman, right?
Dustin Hoffman was the bad guy,
both of them then, right? No,
right?
I'm confusing it with the Walter Hill movie. I think
I'm confusing it with Last Man Standing.
that's the Walter Hill movie.
so much going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Bathgate. He drove a limo. He drove the car, right?
Billy Bathgate.
And who is this? Is a person? This is a comic who thought they were gonna like
Hold on,
get movie
Danielle.
to
Could
change
you look up
everything.
Billy Bathgate? Tell me if Dustin Hoffman was in it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I love
I
this
have
car.
my statistician on the line.
He was
I
a
My
think-
statistician, my engineer, my rocket scientist.
Nicole Kidman, Lauren Dean, Bruce
Wait,
Willis.
slow down. Say that again.
Bruce Willis.
Dustin Hoffman,
Nicole
Bruce
Kidman, Bruce Willis.
We're both right.
Okay. No,
Good. Thank
he was just a Boston comic that got a part in a movie. And I mean, I don't think he was a likable guy before the movie, if I remember. I don't know.
A bit of a Napoleon complex.
He was an effective. I mean, he did well in the clubs and people liked him. And
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he worked stand up a lot.
Yeah,
he did that rap. He always closed with that rap. That's how long.
No. A rap.
But this is 30 years ago, 25 years.
yeah, how long ago was it? 30, right?
Probably 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn.
I remember getting off at Catch and walking into the lobby by the bar, and some guy sitting there going, "You were great." And I blew him off, and it was fucking Jason Bateman. I'm like, yeah.
No.
And I mean, I blew him off like, yeah, fuck, a big deal. Nobody knew who the fuck he was back then. He's one of my favorite actors right now, too.
Who, Jason Bateman from
Yeah.
Ozark?
But he was sitting
Did
there.
someone tell you later that it was him?
No, I knew it was him. They go,
Oh.
that's Justine Bateman's brother. I'm going, well, it's not her. You know, it's not her. So I didn't knew if he was doing anything back then. Maybe, but
Hey, it's a stupid question. I'm going to ask you anyway. You don't have to explain it. Rich, were you the one in that story with Michael Aronin?
who?
You don't
I
even
guess
know
so.
that story. You know the story.
Michael Aronin?
What's the
Yeah.
story? Because I could have been in it.
He was the comic. I think
Oh,
he's still around. He has cerebral palsy.
Yeah, and
There was a story going around forever that you guys had worked, he had opened for you a couple of times. And apparently you were doing this cerebral palsy gig. It was like a private corporate affair. And I don't know if you or somebody else, but
I heard this story.
All right. Tell the story. You probably tell it
No,
better
go
than-
ahead.
I can tell it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm under tremendous pressure
I
here.
want to hear the
Because
story.
if Rich is the guy not in the video, it's a wasted story.
It's not him, but it's a funny story.
All right, it's not him. So this guy has Michael Ronan opening for him, and they do this gig for cerebral palsy. And Michael says to the guy, "Listen, all these guys are here to see me. They all have cerebral palsy. Why don't you open for me?" And the guy said, "Fine, I'll open for you." But he went on stage as the guy with cerebral palsy. I don't want to act it out here because I'll look like Trump making fun of that reporter.
Don't.
And then when he introduced Michael Aronin, everybody booed. Michael
He
Aronin.
said
Okay.
this guy's going to come out and try to make fun of us or something, right? He set him up.
Right.
oh, that's fucked up.
I don't remember who the guy was. I thought it was Rich somebody, so I was hoping it was you so you could tell me this real story.
No, I said something. I worked with that kid, and I said, I think I said, he's faking it. I was in the back playing hacky sack with him. But that's fucked up. They did that to him. That's fucked up.
That's horrible.
I worked with him at Garvin's in DC.
Yeah, remember Harry and Don Siegel?
Sure. And the strip club.
Garvin's had some good rooms, man.
Yeah.
Was that Dan Rosen? Did he book that?
That was the Comedy Cafe.
Oh, I worked that one.
Mia, there was a club on every corner.
Yeah.
I
We
love
could literally live in New York and work rooms in Jersey, Connecticut, New York, and make good money.
You used to get gigs. I used to have an 8x10 of my car.
Yeah.
Because I would drive like people like Richie into their gigs. And
If you had a car, you automatically worked.
Man, it's just,
Jerry
no, I love it.
What was that?
Stanley gigs.
So you missed. There was so many one-nighters, Mia, that you would go out not Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then do weekends. And if you had a car, you were golden because you were.
I made more money, I think, the first year I did stand-up than years later, just because I would go out every weekend driving and.
I had more money in my pocket then than I do now because I haven't worked since March.
Yeah.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, were you guys like going on but you were on you would go on the road too, right? Like, or was it?
You didn't have to, really, though.
You didn't have. Okay.
When we started, we had places in Boston, Connecticut, Jersey, New York. I mean, I live on Long Island. And I could literally drive within 3 hours and work for 3 years and never get on an airplane.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, when you started doing TV and stuff and you started getting gigs, like Rich got him early on because he was a big guy. And, when you started headlining.
I didn't get him early on.
You were on the road for years, Rich, right?
I was on the road. I guess, look, I've been doing comedy, 36 years?
Oh.
So probably the last 18 or 19 is when I started getting TV, probably.
Because you never wanted to be a TV comic, right?
No, I just was a comic. I just wanted to.
That's what I mean. I didn't.
That's another thing, Mia. Every station had a comedy show. VH1, MTV, A&E, ABC, CBS. I would make fun of the people. There was comedians that would do the same 5 minutes every night. And I go, look at these fucking idiots. Of course, those were the guys who went on TV because they did the same 5 minutes every night.
My first TV show was Comedy on the Road. John Biner hosted it. And I called, Rick Messina was booking. He was a big agent. And I called Rick. I go, this was the first TV show. I go, Rick, can I do Comedy on the Road? He goes, when do you want to do it? No. He said, where do you want to do it? And he gave me a list of, because they used to tape it at different clubs. So I said, I'll do it in Charlotte. And that was how easy it was for me to get I called him, I go, can I do it? He goes, yeah, what club? And, then I did Evening at the Improv a couple of times. Nothing, tough crowd. I don't know. There was, you did so many different little things, whatever, a half-hour special for Comedy Central.
Tough Crowd was later, though, right? Tough Crowd was even towards the end of that.
Well, that was much later. But the stuff we did, that Rich and you did too, Cohen.
Yeah.
The A-List, not the A-List. And all those shows.
The one Carol Leifer hosted them and
late Friday or something. Late Friday, I did some show late Friday or something. And
Sunday Funnies, all those shows.
Caroline's and
Louis Anderson had a show. We did a Comedy on the Pier in LA.
Right. I used to walk my kids to the bus stop, and the guy lived next door to me. He used to bring the TV guy and would highlight all the shows I was on. Look at what you're on tonight.
What was the one? Dom Irrera hosted one too that you could be dirty. I remember that was like a fun one.
Well, there was.
You're talking about the movie, right? The Dirty Dozen.
No, this was a TV show.
Oh, it was like Messina produced the Dirty Dozen with Greg Otto and George, and he had all those guys. Greg Travis.
There was one Bill Boggs Comedy Tonight that was on.
That's like really good.
Yeah,
that was one of the early.
That was pre everything.
Yeah, that was early.
We're talking 84.
I thought Evening at the Improv was the first. but that was
I
before.
think Bill Boggs was,
Really?
because I think Evening at the Improv looked at that and said, all right, let's do this correctly.
It's crazy. There was so much shit.
I am so fascinated.
I remember when Mulrooney took over for Joan Rivers. He walked out.
Oh, on the late night. Yeah, on CBS.
He walked out.
A lot of people did, though.
He scratched a lot. No, but it was his gig.
Oh, right. That's true.
Until
He did it. Bobby Collins tried it. Who else?
Who was that really funny comedian who died of he used to
Dennis Wolfberg?
No.
Bennett?
San Francisco. He was from San Francisco. I forgot his name. He did it too. He was funny.
Yeah, but
Robin Williams
gig, and then he got fired, and then they started bringing in other guests.
Yeah. Oh, that's what happened.
I think
Did anybody see that Robin Williams documentary?
I did.
No. What is it on?
I think you got to pay for it, right, John?
I saw it on an airplane. It was really good.
No, this is brand new.
Oh, a new one.
I want to watch it.
It's about his, what caused him to commit suicide. I guess some disease he had.
Oh, it's a happy one. All right.
Yeah, that's why I said it brought it up.
I saw the unhappy one.
I was standing outside Stand Up New York, and Robin Williams came out, and he's standing next to me, and I go, "Where do I know you from?"
Oh, come on.
Well, he used to come by the Cellar because his son went to NYU, and he used to come by.
And plus, when he was filming that movie in Brooklyn, he used to hang out.
He was a nice. I mean, I felt bad for him. There was a couple of weeks there, just every comedian would run up to him. You owe me money. You stole my joke, and he would kind of have to take out a check and give him a check.
Yeah, he was whatever.
I mean, no, I don't know if he did it. I mean, it was subconscious. I don't know, but I just would never have the balls to go up to somebody and say, "You stole my fucking joke, Robin Williams."
Robin's Wish is the documentary.
I think so. I kind of want to see it because I'm always intrigued by suicide to some extent. But you look at somebody like him, you go, "What? He was a funny guy. Everybody loved him. Why would somebody?"
Oh, he was always so quiet and introverted when he sat at the table and talked to everybody.
But wasn't he what you aspired to be on some level at some point?
Here, Mia. Here's something that you don't know, and it's so old it doesn't matter. But Mark used to host Make Me Laugh. So we would do shows on the road, a couple of them, and there was one show, me, him, and Joe Vega. And Mark was very, very depressed because he just broke up with his girlfriend. He's all fucking depressed. And I go, relax. I've been divorced. You'll get through it, right? I'm married to her now.
No, I thought you were talking about my other one before.
Oh, God.
Are you serious?
Do you remember when we did that gig, me, you, and Vega?
I do remember that, though. Yeah, yeah.
That is some good hot comedy history. Look at that.
I knew Mark go further back than both his relationship with her or mine. I knew Mark. Fuck, how long? We were doing one-nighters for Palazzo or Stanley.
Yeah.
Grant.
But you were really working. You started working like right away on the road right away. I know.
I tried. I just hustled. I used to go. I remember going to Virginia Beach for like $150 for the week or $125, whatever. And I would host, and I would just go and work and work and work.
But back then, too, you say you would host. Nowadays, the people look at the host in a weird way. But back then, in New York, especially, the host was the guy. He was the guy who held it together because there wasn't acts really.
Belzer was hosting at Catch.
Who?
Richie Belzer was hosting for a while at Catch. Adrian Tulch was hosting.
Yeah. Mike Egan was a great host.
Mike was great at Rascals.
Yeah, Mike was great. Mike was such a good writer. I don't know how he never went to TV and wrote.
And he had that great voice, that great radio voice,
Yeah. He looks the same, I think, when I see pictures of him. He's the guy that always looked, the age we are now.
My first wife, it's so weird. Like there was a one-nighter by my house called the Charter House, and Paul Lyons was working that night. And I go, let me go watch Paul. I wasn't working, but I used to like Paul, and I went to watch Paul, and then I met my ex-wife, and now I have two daughters, grown daughters, because I went to see Paul Lyons working.
See how good Paul Lyons is?
What's that?
See how good Paul Lyons is?
Yes.
Who's
So
the guy who used to
funny.
impression he used to do?
Don
Who's that guy?
Knotts. Don Knotts.
It's so funny because people would not even know who he is anymore. And that
Right.
was fucking closer for 10 minutes of Don. Oh, Andy, got your finger in my ass. You know?
It was so funny. It was so funny. Some of those headliners
It's
back
so
then.
good.
You still what, honey?
I said, this is so good. I'm like, oh, I want to know more.
You're looking at the history of comedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember
I
Schmocken
love
Valley? Do you remember Schmocken Valley?
I
That
know.
was right when I started.
I didn't see them
They were
together.
still out there.
Huh?
They were
I
out
never
there right when I started. Richie Minervini was telling me about them.
They were fun. I used to book some one-nighters. You know, when I started comedy, I go, well, how can I make money and get on stage? So I would book like a one-nighter and I would hire. I mean, these were the headliners I had, you know, for like $70, $80. You know, Joe Bolster, Wolfberg. Mo Rooney came in to headline one night. This is a true story. And he brought his own opening act. So the opening act is there. And the opening act, he goes, you know who I am? I go, no. He goes, I work Catch a Rising Star. He goes, I'm Richard Jenny. I go, yeah, well, you're getting $60 tonight. And he was opening for Mulrooney. He's probably one of the best comics in the 80s.
I
Probably.
never saw anybody better.
Rich Jenny or Mulrooney?
Jenny,
Yeah.
well, Mulrooney too, a crowd. Mulrooney was fucking. So I had this one-nighter, you know, fucking major headliners would come in and I would get to host and get to talk to them and meet them. And, you know, it was great. And then I had a couple of them, Max Docelli and just so many great guys.
Right.
And
I know.
yeah, I mean, there was assholes, you know, Steve Rizzo or Jack Cohen. No, you know, but
Not to name names.
not to name names.
Rizzo's doing motivational speaking now.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a week.
And then, you know, and then I would go into New York and what's his name? Heenan would get me on at Dangerfields. You know,
David Heenan.
yeah. Or Hiram would get me on. I'd give him a little Coke and Hiram would get me on at Dangerfields.
See, that was before me. I don't remember seeing Hiram back then even really.
Really? Hiram used to work fucking Catch, Dangerfields.
Worked Dangerfields all the time.
That's probably why, I guess.
Had that newspaper folded in half, cigar.
That was Andy Valver.
No, that was also what's his name, Chef.
Yeah.
Bill Chef used to.
Chef used to come in with a newspaper, a cigar. Randy Credico used to come in with a newspaper and a cigar. Now Randy Credico has his own press.
Now Randy comes in with Castro's cousin.
Who's the Julian Assange?
He was so left wing and so well, whatever. I don't know who he ended up with, but didn't his name come up with Roger Stone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the intermediary in WikiLeaks between Stone and.
And I kept saying to my wife, I said, "You see that guy on the news?" I said, "He used to work Dangerfields."
Yes.
We used to party together. Let's just leave it at that.
He did Carson. Credico did Carson.
Yeah.
Sure, Jimmy. I mean, it was him, Jimmy Tingle.
Yeah.
There was like four political guys back then.
Will Durst. It was
Will Durst.
Jimmy Tingle was fucking a great comic, man.
I just saw Jimmy Tingle a few months ago.
I think he's around, still working.
I saw him at the Underground when we were doing that this week at the Cellar.
Yeah, I saw him in New York that week too when he was there.
Yeah.
He came in.
Well, this is what, in the last year, you mean?
Yeah, a few months ago.
Mia, do you like start comedy with a crew? Do you have a crew or?
I mean, not really. I mean, like they're you know, because when I started actually started in Athens, Georgia, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away from.
And that's
Atlanta.
kind of a hip place too, right?
It's because that's where I went to
REM.
college there. That's REM. Yeah, all that. Yeah, that's what everybody knows them for. I think B-52s. I think they were also
right.
Yeah,
Athens,
so it was that kind of town. So it was like, you know, I knew a couple of people here and there. Then everybody's like, you got to go to Atlanta, and then I moved to Atlanta. So I always kind of just hung with different people, but it wasn't like a group where you could go, oh, that's Mia and all her I just kind of was everywhere.
What about New York? How long have you been in New York? Did you work in
Well,
New York?
technically, let me see. I got there last year. I mean, I've been kind of coming in and out for the past maybe 3 years, but yeah, I didn't officially live there until 2019. So I'm just there. I'm just around.
In Brooklyn? You lived in Brooklyn or
in Harlem?
In Harlem. And
Harlem.
You give up your place, or do you still got to pay?
Yeah, so I am. So one of my friends, like when I was saying I wanted to move, she just rented out a room to me. So I've actually just been I've still been paying, just because when I left in March, I was going to California to work on something, and then all that got shut down. And so I was like, oh, I'll just go to Maryland for a couple of weeks. And then I was like, oh, never mind. And so and it just felt like I was like, my stuff is still there and I can still pay. So and I knew it was going to be hard to be like, oh, get somebody to take over this for me, because who's going to want to move in during a pandemic?
Yeah.
So
are you married or have kids or anything like that? Or
no kids. I do have a boyfriend, not married. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just out here living reckless.
Is he a comic? Your boyfriend a comic?
Thank God, no, he is not. He is no.
I working for Rich.
Billy J.
No. He's a photographer. That's why I got this fancy glittery background. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So
my wife reads a lot of books, which is why I have this glitter background.
No, I dig it. I like a good library.
You wear a lot of shoes.
I have a sneaker addiction. Along with
that's what nice.
Now, John, what about shifts? You worked a lot of shifts. Are they calling you about getting back to those?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Right now. They're in my backyard.
I've done those before.
There's no ships.
None.
But they're gonna start up again someday, right?
They're gonna be the last guys coming online.
Oh, I thought they were gonna be the first.
Cruises. People are going on cruises now.
That's what I thought.
Europe.
What's that?
In Europe, nothing in North America.
Oh.
Nothing in North America.
They were starting soon,
at least January, and that's only if we get less than 10,000 people dying a day in the United States. Right now, it's at 40.
What?
John, which ships were you working?
I was doing like 8 different cruise lines: Crystal, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, all these cruise lines, because the money was great and the theaters were real nice. And I was tired of doing 3 shows in Columbus Funny Bone on a Saturday night.
How did you possibly not gain weight on doing that many ships with all that free food? You definitely have something.
You don't eat the good food, do you, John?
You know what? I don't really eat a lot on ships. When my wife's with me, we have normal dinners in the dining room.
Yeah.
But they're good dinners. It's much healthier than what I'm eating. Unless she's cooking. If she's cooking, I'm eating healthy. If she's not cooking, I'm just grabbing junk from here and there.
Have you ever done a ship, Rich? You never done a ship,
right? I did one ship, but it wasn't it was the Impractical Joker cruise.
Oh, okay, that's
12 comics. There was like 12 of us.
Yeah, that's way better.
It's their audience, and they're all mutants.
Right.
So you can say whatever you want or do. It was
that's different completely. There's no kids show and the clean show.
No.
Billy Bird did a ship.
What's that?
Billy Bird did one cruise ship.
How long ago?
God, had to be 20-something years ago, 25 years ago. He did a Royal Caribbean ship. He did a welcome aboard show. He wasn't on stage 3 minutes. He called the girl in the second row the C word, and the cruise director walked on stage, put his arm around him, and said, "We're going to show a movie tonight. Stick around."
Hilarious.
And the next day he flew home.
Well, he wasn't even that edgy back then, even back when.
No, not at all. But he said one word that you shouldn't say on a boat.
My friend, Bob Gullett was doing a cruise, and he said he had a tough set, bombed the first night, and he's laying on the deck, and some lady goes, "This is great. I heard the comic bomb though."
Oh.
Bob goes, "Yeah, I heard the same thing."
You ever hear?
I've done Norwegian before.
You did Norwegian?
I've done Norwegian, yeah.
Oh, you did one of the big ships?
Yeah, I did. God, which ones were they're the ones that have the comedy club inside? Yeah. It was
the George Lopez or something?
No. That's Carnival. Yeah, but I did the Escape, the Getaway, and the Epic. Those were the ones
those are real clubs
that I did. Yeah.
Can you say whatever you want in the clubs there on those ships?
On the adult shows, you could, and then the family shows, they were very like they.
But now you can't, like you could be clean,
Yeah.
but you could talk about Trump and you would get in trouble. You know what I mean? It's not so much.
Yeah.
I knew a guy that did a joke about Trump and they sent him home the next day.
On the ship?
Yeah.
It was a very conservative. It was Crystal, very conservative.
Yeah, I knew somebody.
No. It was Regent.
In trouble.
Come to think of it, it was Regent Cruises.
But do they have to tell him? Do they tell him ahead of time? Don't do jokes about Trump, and he still does it. I mean,
For a half hour, they gave us a speech. Don't do anything political.
you know, then well,
They said it's a very conservative crowd. Please don't make any jokes about Trump. So 5 minutes into this guy's act, he said something about the orange-haired Frito chip.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
I was
At
doing
the end of that, they didn't want him on a ship.
Wow. I was doing the Poconos, and back in the day, and I was probably getting like maybe 500 for the weekend. So one of the directors in one of the hotels, they have all these different, came up to me and goes, I personally think you're one of the worst. I don't like you. Someone here does. So whatever. He goes, I personally I don't like you. I don't think you're funny. So, 10 or 15 years later, after last comic, they hired us to come in, and I was making fucking 4,000 or 5,000 for one show. And he was in the audience. And I go, I remember working here like 10 or 15 years ago. And the guy told me, for 500 or whatever, told me I was the worst. And I'm doing the exact same shit now, and I'm getting 10 times the money.
Well, what about Ray?
Victory.
He literally did the same set he was doing at the Comedy Cellar before anyone told him he was doing Letterman. And then he did that set on Letterman. And Letterman thought it was the most brilliant thing he's ever seen. And he's been doing it for 16 years.
Wait, what happened? Who did this?
Ray Romano.
Ray.
Oh.
Remember when Ray used to put the rubber band in his hair and it would explode?
I bet he still does. I think he does.
When he had his first kid, his big joke was the keys. Because I try
And
everything on my kid, but look at this. Look at the keys.
He used to close with, "I'm getting a fax." That's how long ago.
Lift up his leg.
Yeah, do jokes about cell phones and.
Right.
My friend was playing golf with Ray. With Romano. My friend was playing. And Ray said, okay, if you win this hole, the last hole, if you win this hole, I'll buy you dinner. Then Ray goes, you know what? If you win this hole, I'll buy you the restaurant. That's how much fucking money he has.
Amazing.
But he was always a nice guy.
He was always consistent too on stage. Besides being a nice guy off stage, he was consistent. He always did well every time,
Listen, we got to get the Comedy Cellar. We got to get indoor dining in New York. What are they waiting for here? It's 0.69% positivity rate.
I think they're starting in Jersey Friday.
My daughter just said because nobody's out. You go with that?
Have you been to the Cellar? They eating outside. Have you guys been over there?
Yeah, last night we went after taping.
What, the Olive Tree?
Yeah, we went last night. But Jersey's supposed to be opening Friday.
Friday.
The gyms are already open, but I don't know. I work out at home, but you don't know. It's just so weird. You don't.
I know. Listen, I did a show outdoors and I was so psyched to get back on stage. But when I got there and saw 100 people sitting around with no masks, it was the first time I had been in public. And I kept my mask on. I just sat in my car till they called my name. And then when they called my name, I ran on stage, did my thing, and ran back in my car and left. I was afraid to be around people.
Yeah. Richie, when you did the show last night or whenever it was, do you each get your own mic? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah.
Like a wireless mic or something?
Yeah. No, everybody has their own cordless. And also, too, when I go on, if I do an outdoor show, whatever show, I bring my own mic anyhow. I have a mic in my car.
Yeah, I remember that now.
So last night was completely, everybody on the set from whatever all had to be tested a day or the day of or the day before or whatever, so there was a doctor on the set. Take your temperature as you walk in. Look at this thing has me so freaked out that I have 3 different thermometers in my bedroom. I was, if I didn't like how one read, I would do it on the other one.
We talked about this. We're very similar when it comes to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. This is not a pimple. This is a tumor.
Oh yeah. Listen to me. I took my physical like 2 weeks, like I think it was 2 weeks ago, and the doctor said you're in great shape. And he took blood.
Right.
And by the time I got my results, I had 10 different things in my head. I go, oh fuck me.
I got news for you. My kids turned out the same way as me, unfortunately.
Oh,
My daughter has.
oh.
I said, Danielle, did you take your temperature? About 10 minutes ago. All right, take it 3 times.
I haven't taken my temperature.
I make them take it 3 times. I said, what's the average?
There was a comic, and he was the sweetest guy. He passed away. He had meningitis. Jerry Red Wilson. So when
yeah.
He had his own TV show for a while.
Yeah, he was going to
right when he died, actually.
Yeah. Getting big.
Oh man.
Yeah. So when you get meningitis, you can't touch your chin to your chest like that because your spine swells up.
Right.
So once I heard that, for like a week, I was walking around like this, touching all day long, going, and I did a bit going, I think people are looking at me going, I think he thinks he has meningitis.
Well, one of the things they said.
He flew, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci said, they said, are there any early symptoms, any early warning signs? He goes, well, there's certain things you can do. You can take your temperature, make sure you don't have a temperature. He goes, another thing is, if you can hold your breath for 45 seconds to a minute, if you can hold your breath for 45 seconds to a minute, at least, you don't have it. And if you get a little oxidizer, of course, I bought all the accoutrements. If you get an oxidizer and put it on your finger, if it goes under 90, go directly to a hospital. Don't stop it, go. So I put it on every 11 seconds. And sometimes it's upside down, but I'm lying in bed. I'm watching the Yankee game. And I look at it, he goes, 69? It shouldn't be 69. Then you look at, oh, damn, it's 96. Okay.
I wouldn't even know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, listen, let me tell you something. I should not be involved in any of this stuff. My kids got me a plaque, a doctor plaque. It says Dr. Quack.
Let me tell you, after we're done with this, I'm going to see if I can hold my breath for 45 seconds.
I know.
Well, your chest is in it.
How's your blood pressure? You must have a blood pressure machine right next to you, John.
Wait, no, I got that too.
I'll tell you something real quick, too quick. Like, I have anxiety, so every now and then I go on the road, anxiety, and I think I'm having a heart attack. I can't tell you how many EKGs on the road I have taken, just thinking. So I bought from Amazon this little thing that
I saw that.
The phone.
What?
You can take your own EKG at home.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to try it. So
It's only like 80 bucks.
Oh my God.
Do it
I
right
didn't
now.
know that
I'm not
existed.
doing it. I'm too
I
scared.
got a blood pressure machine on my phone. Yes.
Well, about a month ago, I went to the bathroom, number 2, and I looked in and it was bright blue. And I go, I'm fucking
Was
dying.
that from the Tidy Bowl stuff?
Huh?
Was that from the Tidy Bowl stuff?
No, my poop was bright blue. Listen,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
bright blue. I go, oh my God, what the fuck do I have? I go online, I'm looking at all these symptoms. I'm like, oh,
Blueberries.
it was bright blue. Then I walk into the kitchen, I look in the sink, and there's blue water in the sink. My kid made brownies and put blue dye in them. With everybody. Right? So,
That makes you, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do different colors.
bright
Oh,
blue.
that is amazing. Oh my God.
That's scary. You look in the toilet. Oh my God, I'm having a Smurf.
It's just,
I
it's
really
just some
thought I had
dye.
a disease.
Blue would scare the shit out of me. Red, I wouldn't
Right.
care about.
Oh my God, Mark. Oh
His hemorrhoids.
Oh,
man.
What about 30 seconds if you hold your breath for 30? It's got to be 45.
if you hold your breath for 30, it's only malaria.
It seems like 45 seconds is a long time anyway. I don't know if I could.
It does.
I tried it the other day, and the first time I did it, 30 seconds was a lot. But
Yeah.
after I did it a couple of
Yeah.
times, It wasn't tough to get to a minute.
Maybe you got rid of it.
You just have to get you. Yeah, it came out my
Maybe
nose.
that's the cure. Hold your breath for a minute.
Holding your breath.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
What? Who didn't say what?
Dr. Fauci didn't say that. It's not a real test.
I do remember going around though. Yeah, that
It's
meme
not a real
basically.
test.
No.
What's not a real test? The breath holding
He
thing?
says holding the breath is not a real
Yeah.
test.
Yeah, but she
Said it
also
hurts.
doesn't think that drinking bleach is bad for you.
I have a fact finder under me, and I'm up to 22,000 lies, I think.
We're not paying her.
Oh shit, it's 9:30. I gotta run.
Yeah, you guys, I guess I should wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. Anything is there anything you want to push?
Yes, I'm playing at the Comedy Cellar in a couple months.
I hope it opens up again. How about you, Mia? Anything you want to talk about?
You know what? There's some. This thing I did a while back is on Spotify now. Something I did on the Epics.
What's it
I just saw
called?
it's called Unprotected Sets, and I just saw the promo for it today.
I
So,
saw that actually. I saw that title.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So
And what about you, Rich? What's the name of the thing you did last night, Rich?
I don't know.
HBO Max.
The thing you did for Epics, they flew you guys out to LA, right? And you shot.
no, that was the recent one. I did it 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw one.
Yeah. So they're but they're just. I think they might be doing this to like. I'm assuming maybe I guess to
you know what?
just have some content out. I guess.
Nice dog.
September
Oh.
26th, I'll be at the September 26th at the East Brunswick Square Mall. Me and Jim Florentine. September 26th, outside at the East Brunswick Square Mall.
See, now 2 years ago, if you said that, you would have been joking.
I know.
I'm at the mall outside. You guys will see you then.
Yeah.
You guys, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. We'll see you guys all later.
Bye.
Bye. Stay healthy, guys.
Bye, Coco. Bye,
Bye,
kids.
guys.
See you, Rich.
John, take your temperature tonight.